West province, and that's one province actually that people were concerned about ahead of the elections in terms of security and potential disruptions. And this is why the police decided in deploying 51,000 police officers across the country. There were certain areas that they said we need to take special care of, and Northwest was one of them, KwaZulu-Natal was one of them. And to find out exactly what's happened on voting day today, I'm now joined by the Deputy National Police Commissioner General Sehlahle Masemola. Thanks so much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Thanks.
All right, so give us your view in general terms of the day that's nearly coming to an end in terms of voting. Have you been able to manage everything? Has it been peaceful from a police point of view?
Peter, I think as the national joins, which is a security cluster consisting of all of the security department, which SABC is one of them, we were able to deploy countrywide 51,000 plus police at voting stations. There were some teething problems there and there where either the road to the voting station was blockaded, which some stations open a little bit later than the expected time. But at the end of the day, all voting stations have opened. Even those that opened very late in Beckville area in KwaZulu-Natal, they eventually were able to open. And I must say, they couldn't open because of security reasons, because security was sufficient. But we were able to deploy countrywide all the forces for the voting stations, even reaction forces that are patrolling the areas, making sure that there's stability in the area. They did deploy countrywide. So we are aware that there has been problems there and there, but in general, we say the security deployment went very well, and we think the community should be also happy.
Did these incidents happen in areas that you suspected there might be unrest, or did some areas take you by surprise?
Well, some happened in areas that maybe were not expected, but mostly, yes, we expected some incidents in Northwest, which they did happen. And also in KwaZulu-Natal, we expected, and there were isolated incidents that happened in KwaMashu, Sitole, and in Western Cape. There were some protests early morning, and in Northwest also, and and so it was expected, of course.
Some of them were quite a challenge, because by 5 o'clock still, some areas, some voting stations were still not open. What was the problem in dealing with those situations? Was it not enough police on the ground, or too many protesters? What was the issue?
Those that opened very late, which they opened actually long before 5 o'clock the afternoon, it was mostly in the area around Beckville. There we had one would say, personal problem with IEC personnel, where they were fearing for their security. Not because police can't provide it. Police were there to provide security, to take them through to the voting stations. But however, they say no. They are fearing that after this, there might be repercussions. The main reason being that the IEC staff were from the same local community. So they were more afraid of what will happen after the elections to them.
So a lot of people haven't showed up in Vuwani, and perhaps they also scared. Polls close at 9, it's dark, it's late, and people are probably scared that they don't know what's going to happen to them. What assurance can police give people that they're not going to get hurt going home?
The security is tightened in Vuwani. We have been deployed during the day, and we are going to increase deployment during the night. But one should also be aware that even during the day, there were never very long queues in Vuwani of people. People were coming drops and drops. And there is a case that was opened yesterday. One African male was arrested for intimidating people not to vote and so on. So I think as security forces, we have done our part, because we arrested the person that intimidated them. And he's behind bars, and the security is quite tight. Even overnight, we will still be deployed there. But one really can't say people they are scared of going there because there is no security. Security is quite sufficient. Maybe it's up to them whether they want to or they don't want to go and vote.
So we've had some disturbing incidents in the last couple of days. Community halls being burnt down, robberies taking place. Have you put security in place to make sure we don't see that at this critical time where the boxes have got to be secure and the counting process has got to be secure?
Peter, at each and every voting station, we have got police that are there. So they are not going to at any stage leave those voting stations. They will be there right through the counting process until counting is finalized, and they escort the IEC staff and the material back to wherever they are going. So the security won't be leaving in any soon time. They will always be with the IEC personnel, and we are confident we have sufficient staff on the ground.
Do you have any concerns about post-election violence that might play out? Or disruptions or disturbances?
Well, one cannot. Well, we don't know, because it might be saying we don't know how the results will be and whether people will accept it. But in general, we expect that people will respect the democratic process in the country and respect whatever. And if they are not satisfied, I mean, you have got the right to lodge a dispute, whatever. And police and the other security forces will always be there to ensure that there is stability.
But your deployment is going to remain for more than just tomorrow. I mean, right through to beyond Saturday.
Will be deployed right through until, remember, after the results are announced, there is a lot of festivities and so on. So we will still be there to police, make sure that there is peace and stability in those festivities that people will be holding.
What's been the biggest challenge for you strategically to put all of this together in terms of having a security operation in place? Is there anything different to these elections, or has it been similar to previous ones from your viewpoint?
There is not much big difference, except that certain areas there were some teething problems, which in majority it was people protesting. And I mean, people have got the right to protest in terms of the constitution, but of course the only problem is that they were protesting violently. But in general, I think we planned quite well in advance to secure these elections, and I think we are quite we have done well up to so far. Even those protests, we were able to police them. One should remember that as people have the right to protest, any group of people that are protesting, you can't just get there and start dispersing them. There are processes that you need to find out what's happening.
But it is against the law to protest, demonstrate on election day. So everyone who's doing it today was breaking the law. Did they get arrested for that, or were you more managing it and saying go home, leave peacefully?
There is, the last 3 days, there is a lot of people that have been arrested for doing that. Even today, there's a number of people that were arrested for doing all these violent protests. So that's why I say I think as security forces, up to so far, we have done well.
When it comes to people trying to rub off their marks on their things, that's also a criminal act, isn't it? You're not allowed to do that and try and vote again. Is there something that the police gets involved in at this stage, or do you wait for the Electoral Commission to bring those people to you? How does the process work?
Well, if you get caught that you try to remove the ink in order to vote again, definitely you must know that you are in for a big trouble. We are going to arrest you, we are going to prosecute you, because that is not allowed. And definitely we will definitely make sure we arrest those people.
Have any cases been brought to attention as yet?
There is one case that we are busy investigating within Gauteng province, where somebody alleged that he have removed that. We know the person, we are busy tracing the person to ensure that whether is it true or not. And if it's found that yes, he tried to do that, definitely he'll face the full might of the law. He will sleep behind bars tonight.
All right. So, does it become a crime when you try and vote again, or if I try and rub it off now and not try and vote again, when does it become a crime? Only when I try and vote again, or the trying to remove it today, still, is that a crime?
Well, if you want to vote again, you want to vote twice, that's a crime.
Okay.
So definitely you will get caught up, you will definitely be arrested.
All right. So what in closing, what word would you like to share with the general public now, with just over an hour to go now before voting? Maybe to reassure them.
What I would like to say to the people of South Africa is that the police are out there to ensure that you exercise your democratic right to vote. So respect them. They are not there to cause problems with you. They will respect you, but in return also respect them and exercise your right to vote in a peaceful manner. And they will always be out there to make sure that all the inhabitants are safe.
General Masemola, thanks very much indeed for joining us and sharing with us your view of what's happened today, and we're grateful for the work that your team has been doing on the ground. Thank you so much indeed, sir.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.